Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about our last two diatonic chords, 3 and 6. There's a reason that we've left these for the end. They're much less frequently used than 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7 diminished. So I'm going to start with 3. If you look at the example that we have up on the screen, you'll see that 3 is the third chord, and it's followed by 6 and then 2, 5, 1. So this is one of the ways that you'll most often see 3, and that's as part of a circle of fifths progression. So if you look at this closely, you'll see that they're all in root position. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, I'm just doing it so that you can really see the circle of fifths. From the 3 to the 6 chord, we have a fifth descent in the bass. From the 6 to the 2 chord, there's also a fifth, and then another fifth between 2 and 5, and 5 and 1. So if you think about your Father Christmas Got Dad and Electric Blanket, so we're sort of going backwards around that circle. Electric and Dad got Christmas. So that's the circle of fifths progression, and that's the way that we'll usually see chords running. The other way that you might see a 3 very, very occasionally is as a substitute for 1, because it shares 2 notes with it, the E and the G. But because it doesn't have the C, it leaves us feeling a bit rootless, and so it's not a very effective substitute. So if you find yourself saying, oh, I really want to write a 3 here, try and restrain yourself, or see if it can be part of a larger circle of fifths progression that takes us back to 1. So let's listen to this. So it sounds perfectly nice on its own. It's got a very strong root movement, and it can sort of serve as a blueprint for how we approach our entire process of choosing harmonies. So if you look at the end of it, the 5 to 1 is the most basic and crucial element, the dominant to the tonic. The 2, which could also be a 4, is a predominant, so we're going predominant, dominant, tonic. The 6 leads into the 2, and then the 3 leads into the 6. So really, if you get to a 3, it's best if you can go through all of these chords before you get to the end. 6 is used a little bit more frequently outside this circle of fifths, and we'll talk about the main usage in the next video. So let's look at minor and see how things change a bit. So first of all, you'll notice that 3 and 6 are both now major chords, because that's how they fall in natural minor. I've also included major 7 here, which we've been avoiding because it has a slightly confusing role to play. So let's attack that role right now. So the G to the C, as we looked above, is a fifth, right? And so that 7 to the 3 has a circle of fifths kind of function to it. If you look a little bit more closely at what the chords actually are in A minor, we have a G, a B, and a D, followed by a C, an E, and a G. So what does that remind you of? That's right, it's 5-1 in C major. So by using 7 and going to 3, then we're really kind of putting a lot of emphasis or tonicizing that third scale degree in A minor, which is also the tonic chord of the relative major, C major. So when we use this G major chord, the major 7 in a minor key, it often is followed by that 3, and it kind of feels like it's a 5 to 1, and we'll explore that relationship a lot more in Theory 2. So consider that a little bit of a preview. It's exciting, right? Okay, so 3 and 6 also have a circle progression relationship. So the C to the F. So often 3 can be followed by 6. They have a little bit more autonomy in the minor keys because they're major, because they sort of feel like they're moving us a little bit into the relative major. So you can see them used a little bit less strictly, but still a lot of the time 3 will go to 6, and then we're falling back into minor. So if you listen to this, you'll hear how by the time we're in this second measure, it almost feels like we've moved away from A minor and moved into C major. And so when the cadence in A minor comes back, it sounds like a little bit of a shock, and that can be very effective. So listen to this. So I'm going to play it one more time and stop it in the middle of this measure so you can really feel how we have moved away from A minor by using this 7 to 3. It almost feels like we could stop there and that would be the end of the piece. And so that's a very, very powerful and so a little bit dangerous thing that you can do in minor keys. So to summarize this, 3 and 6 usually just used in the context of a circle progression. 6 are a little bit freer than 3. If you use 3, you should try to go through that circle progression and get back to 1. So 3 to 6 to 2 to 5 and then back to 1. You can very, very, very rarely use 3 as a substitute for 1, but I wouldn't recommend it on any of your homeworks. I would probably circle it and write weird choice and then take off 100 points at least. Okay.